Good evening, Phillies fans, and welcome back to the Fight is Final here on the It's a Rap Sports Network. Your boy Matty B on the call, and the Phillies walk it off in 10 innings. Trey Turner delivers the game-winning hit. Part of a 3-hit effort for him tonight as the Phillies now have won 3 in a row and are in prime position to sweep the Atlanta Braves out tomorrow. ESPN game tomorrow night, as the Phillies will have to wait to the final game of the weekend to try to do that. But big time win today, you know. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. It was one of those games where they get on the board first. We've seen that a billion times, and then they don't score again until the 10th inning. But it's, I guess it's okay. A win's a win's a win. And the Phillies find a way to do it tonight, 3-2 in 10 innings. 79th win of the year, their 28th series win of 2025. They only had 27 series wins in 2024, so a positive there. Have now improved to 18-10 for the month of October. They're by far and away their best month of baseball since May, as they have an opportunity tomorrow to tie May's output with 19 wins as they wrap up the month of October on this Labor Day weekend, 2025. So great to have you back here with me tonight. I got you on the call, so let's roll through this. Mickey says, "What's up, Matt?" Mickey, how are you tonight? Good to see you. Eagles fan, keep in mind the Phillies were down their final out and they strike and they won. That's insane. Yeah, it was a great. I mean, these are the types of games, especially if you were there. These are the games that frustrate you and, you know, exhilarate you all in the same day. And that's essence of what baseball is. I get that, but you know, it's still not going to. You know, I mean, Chris Sale was dealing today, and you got to give him that. Chris Sanchez. Huge bounce back type of performance for him after that New York Mets debacle the other night. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But we gotta take into consideration the pressure was not necessarily at a playoff fever pitch here. It wasn't. You know, there were some things going on in this game that were reminiscent of the Mets series, and for the Phillies' credit, they held it together. Questionable balls and strikes. Again, strike zone was a little inconsistent. I thought it was pretty good, but they were getting a little frustrated. Both teams were, but the Phillies held it together. Sanchez is, as I said, maybe the story of the night for the Phillies, other than Trey Turner, who had a hell of an offensive output. Pretty dominant performance from him. Phillies as a team struck out 15 times in this game. That's not good at all. You know, kind of let some opportunities pass them by. 2 for 13. With runners in scoring position. You're never going to tell me that's good. So there were still some of the old tendencies creeping in, but you know what? You played to the end, and they did. And you got to give the credit where credit's due. 3-2 win, and coupled with the Mets loss, that leads back up to 6 games. So tomorrow night they have an opportunity to erase what happened in New York. They can't gain any ground, and the Mets are technically still hanging around. But they can erase what the ground that was gained by the Mets earlier this week. Comebacks are so satisfying. They are. They absolutely are. You got a series win. I did. They're 28. I didn't get the series win. They did. Phillies got the series win. Star Wars, I had nothing to do with it. 28th series win for the Phillies on the season, eclipsing all of what they did in 2024 with 27. So, again, positivity reigns supreme on this episode of The Fight is Final. I'm not one. Listen, I could dish it out with the best of them. Sometimes I got to sit here and I got to give the credit where the credit's due. People think I want them to lose. I do not. I don't believe they can win the World Series, but these are character type wins. Yes, against the Atlanta Braves. And yes, there is something to be said about that. And yes, I will bring up that Mets series until the Phillies prove to me that they can win in a situation like that consistently. And I'm going to keep bringing it up because that's what the fixation is. And it's not the Mets. It's that pressure playoff-like environment. That's what concerns me about this baseball team. It concerns the hell out of me, and it should concern you. Again, it's really nothing to do with the Mets specifically. It's about that pressure situation. Phillies should sweep the Braves tomorrow. 100% they should. They got to. I said that going into the series that the only way to truly sort of put What happened in New York behind them was to go out and just handle their business and beat up on the Braves. Now, they didn't beat up on the Braves today. They didn't beat up on the Braves yesterday. They beat them up. They beat up on them on Thursday, but runs have been sort of at a premium since that 19-run output. But we could have seen that coming a mile away. But hey, they handled it. Trey Turner, the big story of the night, 3 for 4, the game-winning hit in extra innings as the Phillies were able to bounce back tonight and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Let's head over now to our vaunted box score. Let's break this bad boy down. The Braves on the night, 2 runs on 9 hits, no errors. Phillies, 3 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Trey Turner, your offensive output, your offensive story, 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs to include the walk-off. Kyle Schwarber and Oberger, Bryce Harper and Oberger, JT Realmuto and Oberger, and Alec Boehm 1 for 4. So your 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hitters went a combination of 1, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16. 1 for 16. Tell me that's good. 1 for 16 were your 2 through 3, 4, 5 hitters. That ain't good. And again, we can sit here and high five each other all night long. Yeah, they found a way to win. And yes, that is part of the game. It's not all going to work out 3 for 4 every single night. I get it. But 1 for 16 for you from your 2 through 5. Would this have been enough against the Dodgers, the Padres, the Reds, the Mets, the Brewers? Would this have been enough with Ranger pitching away? Or not Ranger, but Sanchez pitching away he was pitching? Maybe. You just don't want to, you want to handle your business on both sides of the plate. You want to handle the pitching, the defense, and you want to take your own fate in your own hands hitting. 1 for 16, 2 through 5 ain't cutting it for me, man. Nick Castellanos, it returns. I don't know if he's happy. I don't know what's going on with that whole thing. It seems like the relationship is coming to an end. It's that awkward phase in a relationship where you're sort of tolerating each other before somebody decides to make the call and make the move. It just seems like we've reached that point with Nick Castellanos that we're just sort of playing out the last days of our relationship with him. 1 for 3 for Castellanos, did score the game winner. Bader 0 for 4, Sosa 0 for 2 before being lifted for Stott. Wilson was the only other offense in this game. He had the home run early on I wasn't the first, it was the third. And then Marsh 1 for 2 with a big hit too as well. So there's your offensive numbers for the Phillies. For the Braves, it was Profar 2 for 5, Olsen 2 for 5 as Olsen continues to haunt this team. Ozzie Albanese 2 for 4 and Baldwin 2 for 4. And was pretty much all the offense the Braves had going on tonight, as well as they did pound out 9 hits against Phillies pitching. But it doesn't matter. I'm never going to sit here and try to explain to you that it really matters about how many hits you limit a team to. No, it matters how many runs you limit a team to. I don't care if a pitcher gives up 105 hits. If he gives 3 runs, I'm okay with that. That was a productive outing. Pitching, Chris Sale, let's start with him. 6 innings, 3 hits. He had one run, it was earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, gave up the homer to Wilson, 78 pitches in 6 innings. That's kind of on par. I don't know. They were talking about whether or not Sale was on a pitch count tonight. Do you put him back out there in the 7th inning if you're the Atlanta Braves? I say you do. What the hell else you got to lose, man? The season's over. Pitch him out. Let's see if he can finish the deal. So questionable decision there, whether or not they should have went with Sale in the 7th. They didn't, and it benefited the Phillies in the long run. But Sale was locked in tonight. Manageable pitch count through 6 innings. Only gave up the 1 run, struck out 9 along the way. Kinley, Johnson, Lee, Iglesias, Stratton, and Dodd, as it looks like the Braves emptied out their bullpen tonight to try to keep the Phillies down, and they could not, as the Phillies won in extra innings. Sanchez, 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. It was earned. No walks and 8 strikeouts for him. 97 pitches, though, in 7 innings. A little bit elevated. Was the right decision to lift him when they did after the 7th. Banks, Duran, who comes in a non-save situation and was dominant in that 9th inning. And Matt Strom, who, he gets the win. It wasn't the most confidence-building like performance from Strom, but he gets the win. And the Phillies, even though he gives up that run there in the 10th inning, he still gets the win as the Phillies picked him up in the bottom of the 10th. Scoring summary, Wilson with the homer in the third to get things rolling for both teams. Phillies 1-0. Olsen would double in Profar in the sixth to tie it. Then Alvarez would knock in Farley in the 10th to give them the lead at 2-1. And then Turner would knock in Bohm and Castellanos to get the game winners in the bottom of the 10th inning. And very short and sweet scoring summary as this game was rocketing along. I think we were like at the hour and a half mark heading into the 7th inning. This game was on its way for like one of them record finishes, but it kind of got bogged down there later in the innings as we got more into strategy. But the Phillies find their way to victory tonight, 3-2 in 10 innings. Phillies were, as I mentioned, 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Dreadful. They left 6 runners on. The Braves were 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Dreadful. And they also left 6 runners on base. And there you are. There you are. 3-2 Phillies win. They got the series. They will go for the sweep tomorrow. And then it's off to Milwaukee for one of those types of series. It's one of them series coming up against the Milwaukee Brewers. So, yes, we mentioned Star Wars. I said they got to get the sweep. I think that was Star Wars. Was that you who said that? I think that was it. No, Eagles fans. I'm sorry. Eagles fans said we should get the sweep tomorrow against the Braves. I definitely believe they need to. Got to bring as much confidence and momentum as they can to Milwaukee because it's going to be another one of them series. It's going to be another one of those pressure series. It's going to be another opportunity for the team to really bounce back from what happened in New York because it's going to be that playoff-like environment. They start Labor Day, then they get the Tuesday off, and then they play on Wednesday and Thursday. So it's going to be one of those series in Milwaukee. You need as much momentum and as many games ahead as you can get moving into that series. So it is definitely not a scheduled loss Sunday. And I hope Rob Thompson does not go at it like that. You think that with a night game after night game, JT should catch tomorrow. Tomorrow's not a day game, so JT should catch. Maybe you go with Marshawn on Monday, but I think it's important that you go with JT tomorrow. You got to put your horses back in there tomorrow and try to get that win because, as I said, heading to Milwaukee, another one of them series, and you need to have as much momentum as you possibly can. We scored all the runs Thursday. Yeah, and that's another thing. You get 19 runs on Thursday, then you get 2 runs last night and 3 runs tonight. So that's 19 runs and then 5 runs in your next 19 innings of baseball. Call that for what that is. I don't know. But and it's not like it's surprising. It's been happening all season. So, but we can pull positives, and we are, and we should. It was a character win. They came back, found the way to get the game tied and win in the bottom of the 10th inning. So, that's the reason why baseball is played till complete, not played and to a certain amount of runs. You got to play till the final out cross. And Phillies found a way tonight, and Trey Turner led the way. I was on here, it was sometime during the Mets series, talking to somebody who was really ragging in on Trey Turner. And, Trey Turner has had undoubtedly the best, most productive season he's ever had in pinstripes this year for the Phillies offensively. His defense has been better. This has been, I think, overall the best season Trey Turner has had since joining the Phillies. And I don't really think there's much of an argument with that. And he's been a bright spot, especially, ending the conversation of who should be leading off on this baseball team. It was Stott, and then Schwarber came back for about 10 games. And now it's, and it's been Turner now in that slot for, I think tonight was his 80th game of the season leading off. So that's a positive. And everything Trey Turner has done has been the most productive at it that he's had as a Philly. You got to look at it that way. And I truly believe that. So Turner's had the best season I think he's had in pinstripes as a Philly. So very good. Ricky, how are you doing tonight? I hope this Saturday evening, college football, all that is Labor Day weekend. I hope all that is finding you and everybody else out there very well. And before we get into the Broad Street Bottom Line, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow, the aforementioned 7 o'clock ESPN game, I will have you on that call. I will wrap up the Braves series for you. This is a sneak peek at the Brewers series coming out on Monday. Mike Laro is going back-to-back on Monday and Wednesday, kind of back-to-back. He gets a day off in between, and then I have you on Thursday and that's your Brewers series lineup. Here on the network earlier today, you have for the first time ever the Happy Huddle talking about a Penn State win over Nevada. What was it, 89-10 or something like that, 45-11? They beat up on the Nevada Wolfpack. Good, go Lions, go, row, row, you know. But Mike Lauro was there for the postgame, and he'll be with you every Penn State football postgame for the rest of this season. So make sure you're joined in with him. Tomorrow morning at 9, the P&M and the AM program will be there to brighten up your Sunday morning and get your day started off right. And then, of course, tomorrow night, I'll be back with the Fight is Final. This week, big week, huge week, huge. Eagles, Cowboys, we started for real Thursday night. At the end of the Eagles game will be the Birds Flyby. The Birds Blast, which is your quintessential and Eagle pregame show entertainment, will return on Tuesday. Me and Kyle Quinn. And the locks, props, locks, and parlays with Mike Lauro. No pressure sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Wednesday at 7, and all the other great programming on the network. The Attacking Third every Thursday at 9. There will be no Attacking Third this week for obvious reasons. The Attacking Third will go into dry dock for 1 week as the Eagles will take center stage on Thursday night. The Matty B Final Word program will return on Monday. That's right, Monday night. I will not be on the air tomorrow night because I have late game, post game duty. So I will not be doing the Final Word tomorrow. I will do it on Monday night as we'll return for our broadcast week. Then the wraparound next week, I teased the fact that Pat might have been back in the seat on Friday. He was not. I don't know when Pat's coming back. I have a kind of an idea of when he's coming back, but we're waiting on other people. So right now it is the wraparound with Pat Bernard or Mike Lauro or whoever who might want to just step into that seat. So we're keeping Pat's seat warm for him. And everything else there, is that did I pretty much go through it all? I think I did. All right, so let's head over to the Broad Street Bottom Line. All right, your Broad Street Bottom Line for this game specifically, this game right here. Trey Turner, 3 for 4, has been one of the more consistent, again, inconsistency, really keywords of the Phillies. This was a model of consistency. Trey Turner's 3 for 4 at the leadoff spot to include the big 2-run knock to get the game winner in 10. Best season ever in pinstripes. You got it. You can't argue that. And if that's working, we're working. And Chris Sanchez dealing. And if that's working, we are working. We got to do something about 1 for 16, 2 through 5. But the model of consistency happened with the top of the lineup, got some help down low, and they were able to fill those gaps in. And once again, Phillies pitching keeps them hanging around in a game where offensively, at least early on, they had no business hanging around in. And so that's been the recipe for the Phillies all season. And when it works beautifully. Whether or not it can work in the other situations, in the situations that we're about to enter in about, 4 weeks, remains to be seen. But the blueprint is there, as long as the Phillies can take advantage of it. So Trey Turner, a model of consistency tonight, and Chris Sanchez, a big bounce back game. Hopefully the mental stuff is okay and he can keep himself together. But had a big game as well for the Phillies. So there you go, my Broad Street Bottom Line. So let's take a trip around the bases. All right, your trip around the bases on this Saturday evening in late October, Labor Day weekend. Let's talk about the games that have gone final. It was 4-1, the Brewers over the Blue Jays up in Canada. Rays over the Nationals 4-1. It was the Marlins 11-8 winners over the Mets. So, yes, the lead of the NL East has returned to 6 games. Phillies have a chance tomorrow with some help to return back to that number 7 plateau where they were before the Mets series, erasing hopefully everything that happened. And then the Pirates all over the Red Sox in Boston 10-3. Games that are currently ongoing, and they are moved to the bottom of the ninth in Cincinnati. It's 4-2 Cardinals over the Reds. In the bottom of the eighth, it's 1-1 Astros in Houston, 2-2 Yankees and White Sox and Chicago. Top of the seventh, it is 10-3 Padres over the Twins. In the top of the sixth, it's 4-1 Cleveland over the Seattle Mariners. In the top of the eighth, it's Tigers and Royals tied at 1. Top of the eighth as well, it's 8-1 Orioles over the Giants. The bottom of the third, 1-1 Rockies Cubs in Colorado. And just underway out in Los Angeles, it is 0-0 Dodgers and Diamondbacks in the top of the first. And going off in about an hour, the Rangers are in Sacramento to battle the A's. And there you have your trip around Major League Baseball. Phillies have once again pushed that lead back up to 6 games, which once again is a positive thing. I already got that one. No Joe tonight, only Ricky. I see that. Yes, I see no Joe. That doesn't seem right, Ricky, not having Joe Hale present on one of these programs. Listen, that's going to do it, man. It's a rapid-fire post-game positivity when it comes to some of the production, especially from Trey Turner, as he continues to be one of the more consistent hitters the Phillies have had this year, and a huge bounce-back game by Chris Sanchez. And not mentioned really in any of this is possibly the good performance of the bullpen, coming in a situation where they had to try to keep runners away and runs off the board. Matt Strahm, the ghost runner situation, whatever. He does give up that run, but he gets picked up by the Phillies offense in the bottom of the 10th inning for the win, and all's well that ends well. So Phillies with a chance tomorrow to take the series. They got to do it. Before heading off to Milwaukee. It's a another one of them huge series that the Phillies are going to have to go into a pressure situation in a playoff-like environment. Let's see how they can do. But tomorrow, first things first, handle the Braves, and that'll be a 7 o'clock, as mentioned, game on ESPN. Hurston Waldrep, oh man, from the Long Island Waldreps. He'll be opposed by Jesus Luzardo, and that game will be at 7 o'clock on ESPN. So make sure you're there, and also make sure that you're back here right after the game, as I will take you into your Sunday night on the post game. So hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. Not on this show, Ricky. We only do that on my show right now. We don't do that on post game. Right now, we don't. Maybe we will later on. Maybe we'll do it in the future, but not tonight. You guys have a great night. As I said, have a great Labor Day weekend. Continue to enjoy yourselves. And before I go, you know what I need? Harry the K.
He had high hopes. He had high hopes. He had high apple pie in the sky.